haven't had much time to create content due to work, so here's an old Nuzlocke strategy video featuring runanbun's Elite 4 team from his almost deathless Nuzlocke attempt of 3.02. So for Lorelei, I lead with Slush Rush Ninetales and Urshifu for the free 2-hit KO on Glaceon. Thanks to the Intimidate AI, Landorus is pretty much useless spamming U-turns. I switch in Metagross here as the AI will always U-turn and switch in Curem. Tapu Fini always sets up twice here, so I get another free 2-hit KO on Curem. I finally encore the Tapu Fini Calm Mind, and even with the -1 attack, Metagross can still OKO with Ice Punch. The fight is pretty much over. I 2-hit KO the rest of the Mons. I spam Encore and Bullet Punch here as I don't want to flinch Tapu Fini. For Bruno, I lead with Latias. I replace Urshifu's Sucker Punch with U-turn and I give Metagross leftovers. I switch in Urshifu for some resistances and I U-turn back to Latias. I ran back every fight several times and the AI always switches in Zacian here. Next I switch an unaware Godsire as the AI will just set up. The 3.02 version really likes setting up, so unaware Quagsire goes super hard. I PP stall close combat, and after running out of PP, the AI will switch in Halucha. The goal is to make the fighting bird -2 in special defense so that Latias can Esper wing OKO for free. AI switches in Urshifu, so just like at the start, I pivot my Urshifu, then I U-turn back to Latias. I once again PP stall close combat, and after running out of PP, the AI will switch in Necrozma, which is also setting up. AI switches in Metacham, so I just pull out Latias for resistances and Roost. This time around I go for Aura Sphere, as I know that this Urshifu will be staying in after all the resets. Since the dog no longer has close combat, the fight's over. By the way, I put the team sets that I used for the Elite Four on my website, feel free to check it out. For Agatha, I lead with Zapdos. I start off by using the strategy that I featured in my AI guide video, which is you turn into Urshifu and the AI will always switch as in Calyrex. Yveltal comes out, so I pivot Zapdos and I Volt switch back into Urshifu. I go for close combat twice, as I know from runanbun's VODs and several resets, the AI will just switch back to Yveltal. I switch in Metagross for Expand Force, and as you can see, the AI is too greedy. Against Zarude, I switch in Ninetales for Encore and Disable. By disabling the monkey, the AI will always be switching in Victini, so I get a free switch to Urshifu. The fight's pretty much over. For Lance, I lead with Mega Metagross for the free 3-0 KOs. We do play with rocks up, but it's fine thanks to heavy duty boots which you can get in Victory Road. AI switches in Dragonite, so I pivot Zapdos for immunity. I then Volt switch into Choice Scarf Urshifu for the Ice Puncho KO. I did get crit unfortunately, but surely due to the AI mechanics, Dialga will always go for Roar of Time 100% guaranteed. I Encore and I Drain Kiss till I'm full HP so that Sash could be usable. I kept Moonblast as even if the AI switches out after getting -2 special attack, it won't matter at all. Rayquaza finally comes out, so I disable Dragon Ascent. I pivot eject button Quagsire and I pull out Choice Scarf Latias to finish off the Dragon Flying Mon. Lastly, for Champion Gary, I lead with Zapdos. I start off by Volt switching into Assault Vest Metagross. I then go for Zen Headbutt to get some damage off on Swampert. I pivot Latias for immunity and I click on Psychic as the AI will just switch in Eternatus. Metagross comes out, so I pivot my own and I switch in Quagsire for immunity. I switch in Zapdos as the AI always goes for Kyogre here. Next I U-turn into Latias for Energy Ball OKO. I finally get to Bolt Beak OKO Kyogre. Against Necrozma, I U-turn for some chip damage and I switch an Unaware Quagsire which always baits Z move. This is huge as you can only get to use one Z move per battle, so the Arceus normal Z move is now unusable, meaning this fight's over. If you made it this far in the video, you are the GOAT. And feel free to pass by my website where you can see all my team's natures, items, etc. Hope that I was able to help you. Thanks for watching and have a good day.